What's happening, y'all? This is your boy Intergalactic Brew, man. And I am back. As far as MMA is concerned, I'm back on YouTube to do these MMA videos, man. I know I've been kind of distant for a while. That's because MMA has been distant for a while throughout the whole month of March. Of course, we had the, big regular sporting events going on, like the NCAA tournament and all this other stuff. But finally, MMA is back in April, and I am back on YouTube to provide my lovely fans and followers and affiliates with great MMA analysis and videos. So here we go. UFC 145 coming back to Hotlanta, and I love it. I really wish that I could afford to go to UFC 145, but I don't think I will. So I think I'm just gonna go like to one of my friendly sports bars around here in the A and just enjoy the action with the rest of the MMA faithful. But yeah, before I get started with my predictions and stuff, I just want to say that this is really cool that I think the UFC has come back to Atlanta. I've been waiting for the UFC to come back to Atlanta since 2008, since what was that, UFC 88 breakthrough when Rashad Evans, who ironically is fighting in Atlanta again and in the main event. I don't know if y'all recognize that or not, but if you didn't, just a little, secret fact for you right there. But anyway, I'm glad the UFC has hit A-Town one more time. Like I said, I was there for the first UFC pay-per-view when it came to Atlanta, at Phillips. Rashad Evans, Chuck Liddell. I was rooting for Rashad that night when he knocked out Chuck Liddell and shocked the world. And we'll see if he's able to do that again. But without any further ado, let's get down to business and talk about UFC 145, man, because that's what I made this video for. Okay, the first fight that I want to discuss is, hold on a second, let's talk about Miguel Torres and Michael McDonald. Now this fight is really intriguing to me because you have a former champion in Miguel Torres who is trying to reconstruct his image, going up against a hungry, determined prospect who has really been making a lot of noise in the UFC lately, in Michael McDonald. Now, you can kind of say for Miguel Torres, this is kind of a must-win fight for him, even though it's not technically, but just for his confidence and for his image sake, Miguel Torres really needs to come out and impress, because the last couple of fights, he hasn't done that. So I think with an impressive ending to this fight, whether it be by knockout or submission, or maybe even an impressive decision, will definitely put Miguel Torres back in the fold. As for Michael McDonald needs to come out and he needs to shock and continue to send shockwaves throughout the MMA world and keep making a name for himself. I know I just paused right there, but y'all excuse me. I'm really excited about this card, so just bear with me here. But yeah, this is a big fight for Michael McDonald. Like I said, he really needs to come out and really put the stamp down and cement his name as a force to be reckoned with in the bantamweight division. So let's talk about how the fight's gonna go. Basically, Miguel Torres, we know, is the more versatile fighter in this fight. as opposed to Michael McDonald, who is your pure striker. For Miguel Torres, I would be safe in saying that Miguel Torres needs to get this fight to the ground and try to submit Michael McDonald. I mean, that's just plain and simple here. He does not need to stand up with Michael McDonald, because we've seen what happens when Miguel Torres tries to strike with superior strikers than he. So if Miguel Torres doesn't want to take another mat nap like he has in the past few times that he's fought strikers, really good strikers on top of that, then he definitely needs to try and submit Michael McDonald. How does he do that? He needs to come and turn on the pressure from the beginning. He needs to put McDonald up against the fence, clinch with him, knee him, dirty box him, try to take him down, get in the mount, soften him up with punches from the mount, and eventually look for the submission. Or either if Michael McDonald starts scrambling out of control and gives up his back, Miguel Torres needs to take that, get the hooks in, sink in that rear naked choke, and get the hell out of there. Now, as for Michael McDonald, I think what's going to be the way for him to win this fight is, I think he just needs to use that movement, the footwork, move his head, try to get that jab going. I'm not sure. Let me check who's going to have the size and reach advantage. Okay, Miguel Torres is 5'9", 76 inches. Okay. And let me check Michael McDonald's size and reach right quick. 5'8". Okay. 70 inch. Yeah. So be that as it may, Miguel Torres is going to be the taller, longer fighter in this fight. So yeah, Michael McDonald definitely needs to get in on the inside, let his hands go, look for that over the top right hand, or possibly set something up where he can land an uppercut even, and just drop Torres and TKO him. If he does see a takedown, if Miguel Torres does leave an opening for a takedown, Michael McDonald should take that. I don't know what he could do with the takedown, because we've never really seen Michael McDonald really have to grapple with anybody like that. But if the opportunity presents itself, then maybe this could be a chance for us to see Michael McDonald's all-around skills, because we know what his main skill is. But if he takes the fight to the ground, we could possibly see maybe Michael McDonald submit Miguel Torres. But all in all, the way I see the fight playing out is Miguel Torres, I think, has enough to win this fight. I think I think with him being more well-rounded than McDonald is, I think he can really dictate where the fight goes, and I think we see Miguel Torres come out and regain that aggression, and I think he pushes forward on McDonald throughout most of the fight, and I think he eventually gets the fight to the ground, and I think he'll be able to submit Michael McDonald. If not, at least he'll go for submission attempts and just win the rounds and possibly win a decision. But I think Miguel Torres will be able to finish him, though. I think I could see Miguel Torres maybe winning the fight. Maybe I'll say maybe like early third, because Michael McDonald is a tough guy and he's got a pretty good chin. So I'd say Torres submits him in the third round. So I'm gonna go with Miguel Torres third round submission. But like I said, Miguel Torres needs to come out and turn the pressure on from the beginning, and he needs to be aggressive and look to get the fight to the ground. If he does not do that, Miguel Torres will get knocked out and he will lose, point blank. Okay, I took a little bit too much time with that fight. Okay, next fight right quick, Mark the Machine Hominick going up against Eddie Hagen. I think this is I'm not gonna say an easy win, but I think this is a winnable fight for Mark Hominick. Um, I think that being that he lost the last, well, not the last two, let me say this: the Jose Aldo fight, there's no shame in losing that fight because he did put up a good effort, even though he was getting the brunt of the punishment for most of the contest, but he still showed some guts and some determination, and almost finished Aldo. I mean, he did turn it on in the third round in that fight, even though he was badly hurt. So, that was a good effort, but it was still a tough loss because like I said, he was getting damaged for most of the fight. And then the last fight with the Korean Zombie, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. He really underestimated Chen Sung Jung, and he paid for it. But I think from those last two fights, I think Hominick knows that he's got to pack it all in mentally. And I think he knows that, he needs to kind of pick his opportunities, when to strike and when not. And he just needs to be more intelligent all around. And he needs to be a little bit more strategic as more so reckless abandon. So I think we see that in this fight. I think Mark Hominick takes his time. I think he makes a more methodical approach to this fight, and I think the longer the fight goes, I think he eventually puts Eddie Yagin away and gets a much needed comeback win. So I think Mark Hominick will. I think I could see a late TKO here. I hope it is. If not, then I'll just settle for a decision. But I think Mark Hominick comes out and gets a very impressive win. Okay, next fight we have Mark Bocek taking on John Alessio. Now, I've heard of John Alessio. I believe he fought in the WEC, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he did. So I have heard of John Alessio before, and he is a capable opponent, and I believe he is capable of beating Mark Bocek. But the only problem with that is that Mark Bocek finishes fights, and the last few times I've seen John Alessio fight, he's come up on the losing end. So in that case, I just have to go with what I've seen and what I know. And in this case, I'm gonna go with Mark Bocek to win this fight. I think he's gonna be the better fighter here, especially with the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu. I could definitely see him submitting John Alessio. Maybe I'll say like late first round. We'll go with late first round submission, Mark Bocek. But like I said, John Alessio is solid. He's got pretty good skills, but he needs to come out and he needs to really become more well-rounded and finish fights. But I mean, if he can beat Bocek, then good for him. But I just see Bocek winning the fight by submission. Okay, getting down to the nitty-gritty. Brendan Schaub versus Big Ben Rothwell. Now, when this match was first made, I was thinking like, okay, being that Ben Rothwell has looked horribly unconditioned his last few fights, especially that slop trough with Gilbert Yvel, I was just like, man, I don't think this was a good idea, putting Ben Rothwell on this card. But at the same time, Ben Rothwell, when healthy and when in good condition, is dangerous. So for that matter, I will not count him out, and I will say that he does have a huge chance in winning this fight, being that Brendan Schaub just came off a devastating loss to Minotauro Nogueira, which he was winning, I might add, but he did the cardinal mistake like everybody else does and counted out Minotauro in Brazil, which I don't understand why you would want to do that. But anyway, he underestimated Nogueira big time, and he got dropped. So hopefully we won't see him do the same here with Rothwell, even though Rothwell is not one to be underestimated anyway. I mean, you know, he's just had some conditioning issues. That's really been his only problem. But I'm sure he's probably gone back and fixed those things, or at least I hope he has. And you know, hopefully we'll get to see a solid fight here, not so much of a brawl. I do think that Brendan Schaub does need to, you know, not get ahead of himself and try to be over aggressive in looking for the finish. But I think that Brendan Schaub needs to wear this guy down. He needs to go to the body with the jab, and he needs to let his hands go with the combinations, and maybe even take Rothwell down a little bit, you know, just to kind of wear on him. I think, you know, Brendan Schaub will definitely need to bring all of the tools out of the tool belt, as the old cliche goes. As far as Rothwell is concerned, I mean, Rothwell is the better fighter as far as skills are concerned. I mean, Brendan Schaub, I mean, his grappling ability is pretty good. I'm not doubting that about him. But being that Ben Rothwell is going to be the larger man and does have the reach, I think that you know, Ben Rothwell needs to use that size, and I think he would probably need to take Brendan Schaub down and you know, just beat him up in his guard, or either you know, get in the mount and try to pound him out, and maybe even look for a submission. But I don't think Ben Rothwell's going to do that. I think Ben Rothwell's whole style is, you know, he's going to, you know, test the stand-up for maybe about the first few minutes of the fight, and then for most of the fight we might see Rothwell take Schaub down and just look to either pound on him or submit him. Bottom line. But you know what, though? I think that Schaub, being the smaller man and probably even the faster guy in this fight, I think he'll be able to maneuver around that. I think he'll be light on his feet, and I think he will definitely damage Ben Rothwell with that boxing. I think we see him go to the body, and I think we see him you know, let his hands go a little bit, you know, get in and out, move around, go right back to the body, and then eventually what is that punch he likes to? Is it the right hook? Yeah. I think that right hook catches Rothwell like on the cage. I think he staggers Rothwell a little bit on the cage, and I think he eventually sneaks that right hand in there and drops him. And I think that'll be it. I think after he drops him with that right hand, I think that'll be it. So I'm going with Brendan Schaub, TKO. I don't know what round, but he'll eventually be able to wear Ben Rothwell down and finish him. But like I said, if Schaub gets taken down, he'll be in big trouble. He better learn, whoever he's practicing jiu-jitsu with, he better learn how to submit guys from the bottom. That's all I'm saying. And then the co-main event of the evening. Rory, what does he call himself? What is it? Artemis or Artius, whatever that Greek Roman name he's trying to use now. Rory McDonald, I'm just gonna call him that, versus Shay Mills. Now it's funny, everybody's, talking about Roy McDonald and, how better he's getting, and, all this stuff. And all of that is true. But from the highlights and what I've seen from this Shea Mills guy, you know, I think people are kind of overlooking this dude. You know, he's a dangerous guy. Like I was looking at a couple of his fights, and this guy's got some really good striking. I mean, not just with the hands, but I mean, he uses the whole artillery: the hands, the feet, the knees. This is a dangerous match for Rory McDonald. Now I hope Rory McDonald comes out focused and looking to make a statement against this guy. But at the same time, I hope Rory McDonald thinks just because, this guy is just some prospect and I'm trying to make a name for myself, I'm just going to come out and I'm just going to, just throw him around like I did Nate Diaz and others. I think this is going to be a lot more difficult than people are seeing it. But be that as it may, as far as Shea Mills is concerned, from what I've seen, he definitely needs to get off first and kind of surprise Rory McDonald. I mean, even though McDonald is a smart fighter, and he pretty much sees everything that's coming to him. But I think Shea Mills needs to be unpredictable, and he needs to surprise Rory McDonald, whether that be, faking something, standing up and looking to take him down, or either, just looking to land that big shot standing up. I mean, whatever the case may be, Shea Mills needs to keep Rory McDonald guessing in this fight. I think that's the only way he wins. But as far as McDonald goes, I think with him being the more well-rounded fighter here, I think he's going to be able to dictate where the fight goes. And, I mean, I don't know, man. I guess, Rory does whatever he wants to do. If he chooses to throw him around like he's a practice dummy for 3 rounds, he'll do it. If he chooses to knock him out, he'll do it. But I mean, bottom line, no disrespect to Shea Mills, but I think Rory McDonald takes this fight, and I think he's going to come out, and I think he's going to, handle Shea Mills however he wants. So that's basically it. So I guess Rory McDonald by finish. I'll say that, by finish. Okay, finally, we get to the match that everybody has been looking forward to. Long awaited, 2 years in the making, I believe. This title fight is whatever. I mean, whatever. It's been a long time coming. It's been 2 years in the making. Everybody's been wanting to see it, including yours truly. And I'm glad it's finally happening, and I'm glad it's happening in Atlanta. So that's gonna make the deal a lot much sweeter. But no strangers. Sugar Rashad Evans, John Bones Jones. Everybody knows the story. Now it's just time to write the chapter, so to speak, and close the book. For the most part, what I've been hearing is everybody seems to be worried about what John Jones is going to do, as opposed to being worried about what Rashad Evans can do as well. I mean, the funny thing about it is, when you're dealing with a dominant fighter and a special fighter like John Jones, it seems like everybody seems to get astonished by, the how can I put it? By the progression and the what's the other word? And the hype. Yeah, everybody seems to get astonished by that, and I think they forget to put the reality into it that this guy can be beaten. It's just all of gathering the right strategy to beat him. So I think everybody's forgetting that, you know, Rashad has got skills too. You know, he's been training, you know, with this new team, the Black Zillions, and they've got some world-class coaches down there, and he's training with some of the best MMA fighters around, if not the best MMA fighters around. And, you know, so, I mean, y'all must have forgot. Seriously, y'all must have forgot about Rashad. I mean, we know what Jon Jones can do. We know he's creative. We know he's fast. We know he's big. So, yeah, I mean, we know his whole MO. But, you know, don't count out what Rashad can do either. Because whether people want to realize it or not, this guy knows Jon Jones. I mean, I don't understand why everybody keeps getting in denial of that, but Rashad Evans knows Jon Jones and knows him well. Better than anybody else in the UFC. I mean, hell, the guy trained with him for about a year or two. I mean, these guys were in the same gym, under the same setting. So he basically watched, you know, Jon Jones all day long. Not to say that Jon Jones didn't watch Rashad, but Rashad watched Jon Jones. And I'm just like, okay, aren't y'all forgetting that? But anyway, here's the thing. This is how I believe Rashad Evans can win this fight. I think not only does Rashad need to get in close, but I think that, you know, he needs to keep moving. I just think he needs to be on the move when he's on the inside. I think he needs to utilize leg kicks. We've never seen anybody really leg kick Jon Jones before. That could be very interesting. Hopefully Rashad Evans has thought about that too. Yeah, like use leg kicks. If he can, try to you know, try to land those combinations that Rashad likes to throw. I mean, to go to the body, go to the head. Because I mean, one advantage that Rashad does have, even though he's the smaller guy, being that Jon Jones is so tall, he's gonna want to look to use that jab, and Rashad can duck under that jab and go to the body and nail him with a good body shot and possibly take some of the wind out of him. And then once he does that, he can keep going to the body by using those knees and clinching with Jones and get a couple of short punches in there with the dirty boxing and basically just look to take the wind out of him. And then when he realized that he, you know, has Jon Jones kind of winded, then just take him down and just do your thing with your wrestling. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's not impossible. Now, I'll tell you a disadvantage that obviously Rashad is going to have is, you know, he needs to worry about, you know, those long legs and, you know, of course the knees and, like I said, that jab that Jon Jones is going to be putting out there. And, of course, you know, the unpredictable stuff that's going to come along with it, with the spinning elbows and the jumping side kicks and the, you know, all that Street Fighter Tekken stuff that Jon Jones likes to use. But I think if Rashad can just stay light on his feet while on the inside, you know, getting that wrestler stance and look to go to the body with the strikes and look to go to the legs with the leg kicks and get Jon Jones in the clinch early and often in the fight, there is no doubt I can see Rashad Evans winning the fight. I mean, as far as Jon Jones goes, I mean, I pretty much just explained what he was going to do while I was explaining what Rashad was going to do. So, what do I think is going to happen? I'm going to be bold here, and I might be the only one that's going to do this, but I'm going to pick Rashad to pull the upset. I truly believe that Rashad is quick enough, and I think he's crafty enough to where he can make Jon Jones commit, and he can create opportunities for himself to get on the inside of Jon Jones's reach and land shots to the body and to the chin, as well as chop his legs down with leg kicks and get him in the clinch to where he can take him down. And I think he could get Jon Jones on his back and pound him out. I can seriously see that happening. I can seriously see that happening. The only way I don't see that happening is if Jon Jones just, starts, getting wild at the outset. I mean, if Jon Jones comes first, then Rashad is in trouble. But, if Rashad comes in on the move, just keeps circling and moving and measuring Jon Jones with those angles, I truly believe that, Rashad is going to beat Jon Jones. And I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I know I've been wrong before about Jon Jones because, I picked Rampage to beat him. That didn't happen. I picked Machida to beat him. That didn't happen. And I'm not afraid of being wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I mean, that's just me. I mean, I'm just going to keep it real. I'm not going to be a bandwagon jumper and, go along with the crowd, so to speak. I don't fit in. I just fit. But I don't fit in. Get it? But anyway, yeah, so I'm going with Rashad Evans, and I'm going to pick 4th round TKO. That's what I'm going with. Rashad Evans, 4th round TKO, new light heavyweight champion. And once again, Rashad Evans comes back to Hotlanta and wins another fight. This is Rashad's town. This is from today all the way up until the fight. I'm officially labeling Atlanta, Georgia, Shad-Lanta. That's what I'm going to call this. Shad-Lanta. Because Rashad Evans owns Atlanta when it comes to MMA. So, once again, Shad-Lanta is going to reign supreme. Bottom line. Dang. And I took too damn long with that prediction. But anyway, whatever. Y'all enjoy. It's a once-in-a-lifetime. UFC comes to Atlanta, Georgia. I wish I could be there, but unfortunately I have to just watch from somewhere else. But anyway, that's it for me. Peace.